country. Now, at the end of 2021, the organization won a grant from the DW Academy through the Aga Khan University's Media Innovation Center. Now, where the Citizen Report received funding to begin developing a trivia card game focused on the elements of Uganda's civics, history, and geography. And to join me today this morning, I do have Sarah Ijangolet, Creative Director and Game Developer, The Citizen Report. Good morning to you, Sarah, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Mildred. Thanks for having us.
Also joining me this morning is Sarah Rakatungu, a Community Manager at The Citizen Report. Good morning, Sharon, and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you, Mildred.
Well, we are going to be discussing the organization's forthcoming game. And Sarah and Sharon, first things first, would like to know what is a Citizen Report and what does the organization do? To you, Sharon.
So Citizen Report is a non-profit organization which was created to build a civically engaged citizenry. And right now how we're achieving that is by sharing information primarily online. Online on our social media, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're also on TikTok as well because we do some educational videos as well. And our information is primarily focused on history, data, civics and geography of Uganda. And I can give you an example of that because say like the past 2 months we were focused on citizens, like what does it mean to be a citizen, and like you need an ID. What does it require? You need an ID, you will need a passport if you're going to pass somewhere else to qualify as you prove that you're a citizen to another country. And you need to register birth when a baby is born, things like that. And for the next 2 months as well, on social media, we're going to be focused on economics. So how does Uganda make money? How do you contribute to Uganda's money? Like, that's the kind of information that we're giving people online. And this is, the goal for that is for people to know how the country works and hold the government accountable as well. And also you as a person, as the citizen, what are you doing for the country too? Like, it goes both ways. So that's really the focus. And every week we also have a quiz that we do on Fridays. We also try to get people engaged in an entertaining way, and the game is a way to do that. So every Friday there's a quiz. It's 10 questions. And it's a mix of all the data, history, civics that you have shared. Civics that we've shared over past years, or even which we haven't shared. Sometimes it's even relevant to the current news, things like that. And people answer those questions. Sometimes, even if whether you fail or whether you pass, you've learned something along the way. So yeah. That's
also, when the question is posed to you, sometimes you're triggered to go and actually look up more information on it.
Exactly.
Well, you are basically here to talk to us about a game that you have developed in relation to what you have talked about. Tell us about this game, Sarah.
So we developed a game called Facts and Facts. We went into development of this game thinking about how currently this year 2023 we are kind of assaulted on all sides with all these sources of information, and
they're enormous,
so many. And we did like realize that a lot of people did not put in practice any skills to like fact check or to like news source properly, and that does cause problems. You know, there's like spreading a lot of misinformation. There's times that information can be out for as long as a month when it's incorrect. We had an example of that with this like this football and this debacle with his wife, where you know, like the internet went crazy sharing this one story about how his mother was
the heir to his throne.
Where his mother was.
It was wrong information.
When it was wrong information, and that only came out like later. And of course, after
everyone had shared their thoughts about.
After that dust dies down, you know, you can't really get as much traction telling people, hey, that wasn't true, you know, that was incorrect. So we went into this thinking about how some people either do not use these good principles of fact-checking, or they don't know them, you know, like giving them benefit of the doubt. They do not know how to fact-check and all that. So we went in to try and create a game that provided the players or the people who engage with us with at least the basic skills on how to fact check, and at the same time provide some trivia that, you know, would be interesting for people to know about their own country and civics, and you know, hopefully have fun at the same time.
And maybe it's because we don't have probably the zeal to dig deeper, to look for more information. We are just going to go with whatever we see online.
I can admit, like, it's really always simpler to just take things as is, you know,
As
like
it is.
no one wants to go through like a 50-page paper on, you know, something. No one wants to do that, and honestly some people just don't have the time these days. But it's still important, you know. We'd really like to encourage people to do this. As an organization that has to like share information with people, we kind of like, we have to do this as our job, but it, like, as a person, I can say that it's benefited me that, you know, like working with the Citizen Report for like a few years now, I don't really like going to things without, I don't see something on Twitter and just share it without reading an article or like saying, like, I'm going to check on Google, or like it's going to be embarrassing for me if this is incorrect. Yeah.
Okay, so how did you come up with the idea of actually starting this game?
So the idea came in with, we wanted to make trivia accessible. Firstly, we wanted to make it accessible to the people who need it the most, and those people, unfortunately, most of them are not in access of like internet or smartphones. So as an organization that has been operating online all this time mostly, we did find the need to branch out to like give this information to, like, you know, the people who would benefit from it the most, the people who can't Google, who can't. So we sought to make something that's physical, that can be played physically. We also wanted it to be fun, to also be appealing to children, because also, like, ideally for me developing this game, I thought that, you know what, it would be great if a kid could like leave school and become an adult that fact checks, you know, the information they get, and, you know, it's safest for them to do that. So we wanted it to be appealing to children, but also to adults, because you're never too old to get new information, and you're also never too old to have fun. So we developed from there. We wanted something that quizzed the players. We wanted it to be accessible, wanted it to be fun, and we also wanted something that was easy to be like carried around for teachers, for, you know, family game night, and for quiz nights.
Yeah, Sharon, you have something to add to that?
Actually, no. I think I'll.
Okay, so why did you feel this, Sharon? This I posed to you. Why did you feel that the game was necessary? What prompted you to actually, you know, start this game? Because I mean, you have already been sharing information about the history of Uganda, the geography, and the civics, as you've said, and you felt like there was an extra need for the game, you know, to be here. Why is it so?
Yeah, I think accessibility is something she has mentioned, which I can piggyback on, because not everybody is online, and that's something that has to, like, a major part of the population isn't there. So having something physical gives you at least the option to reach wider, and reach is something we really want to achieve. And with this game, targeting both kids and also adults, it was really important for us also to, one of the major aspects of the game is teaching people to have a second, get a second opinion. Like, you've seen something somewhere, but who else has said it? And is it matching up with the other thing? Is this also still a credible force? Things like that, really teaching people to naturally have that instinct of fact checking and checking if this source is credible, to avoid misinformation anywhere. And the important part is to get people early, like students at a young age, having that in your system already at that young age, then by the time you're adult, it will really truly be natural. And we are, maybe like some of us didn't grow up really with the internet and this much information, but now we still have the chance to learn that now, to really sieve through our sources.
Has this game been tested anywhere? Let's say maybe in institutions or corporate organizations or informal or formal sectors. Have you tested this game, and what was the outcome?
We did manage so far to have tested this game in probably a few prototype versions back, like maybe 1 or 2 prototype versions back. We did test it in a few schools. We found that the engagement between teachers and students was like really wonderful. We had we found that we seem to have put the teachers and the students on the same level as on the same level. What do I mean by this? We had a lot of the trivia that we were sharing was also something that some of the teachers didn't know. So the teachers and the students were learning together, and it provided this really nice kind of like vibe between them. It was easier for them to ask each other questions. I did have to like play Game Master for some of these interactions, and like you had like a teacher and a student both asking me, like, what about this, and I think especially as a former learner, like most of us are, it was nice to be able to kind of like be learning together. I know sometimes we kind of put kids in school, and we have them have to be like kind of like passive, but like we wanted to put, and that's kind of the goal, to have people together in a sense of like, hey, we are sharing this information, can we make sure together that this is true information? What do we do about this? Like, and can we also like share the duties of like, can someone fact check this? Can someone find out if this can be backed up by a second opinion? Can someone find out the context of this? And what else can we find out? Yeah.
Well, is this the game books here?
Yes.
Well, a bit later on, you're going to show me how it actually works. Well, do you think that this game is actually able to solve the problem of us not having the basic knowledge about Uganda's history, the civics and the geography that you're talking about? Is it possible to address that problem?
I think it's possible, and it sparks something, like at least it will spark a curiosity, and it will motivate more. I think some people will be able to pull that punch all the way through, some people won't. It will get people somewhere, and yeah, I really think it does. We have it has been seen online, like we've been doing this online for a couple of years now, so I really think the game will be able to achieve that as well.
Well, I've heard you talk about kids, adults, but who is really the target? Who are we looking at to benefit from this game? Sarah, to you.
I will say that the target audience is the Ugandan, and like we shouldn't leave anyone out. Everyone is still at that point where they are learning. As an African society, we are in communities that definitely depend a lot on sharing information by word of mouth, and that kind of setup has been transferred to social media. On Twitter, it's just, my friend retweeted this, this other friend retweeted this, and then if you see like a bunch of your friends are retweeting, you say, oh, like that's probably correct. And it's very easy to fall into that hole of like misinformation. It definitely doesn't only have to be limited to like civics and stuff. We know that these are skills that, even if you are getting news on entertainment, if you're getting news on who's casting whatever movie, like we also hope that playing this game enough will have you like think twice and be like, hey, maybe I should check, do some like background check on like, is this like a repeatable source and all that. So we really just want to provide everyone with the foundation to start to do this like good news sourcing. We definitely know that the principles that we are sharing in the game are not all the principles. There's definitely quite a list of these, but we think that they are the cornerstones of it. And that is, just know your source, know the context in which the source shared this, and have someone back you up. Yeah.
Okay, so we have talked about, you've given us the preamble of the game, but we want to know, how does it work?
Okay, so how this game works is we provide a piece of trivia or like a quote. This can be a quote that we actually pulled from an actual like real world source, or it could be something that we have written out that maybe has like an imaginary source. You know, we have sources everywhere. We have
Can it be like a quote from, let's say, the president or prominent person?
Yeah, we can have like a source from a newspaper, we can have a source from the president, but we can also have sources that everyone interacts with, like, you know, your mom shares a WhatsApp message with you. We also have those sources there. So we have these quotes, and below these quotes we have listed the source, the context, and the second opinion. Now, the way you play this game is we also have a deck of cards which is shared out between the players, and you play this kind of like the East African game Matatu. And how you'd play it is that we have someone reading out the quote, and then you as the player, you have the opportunity to play a source card, a context card, or a second opinion card, and that's helping you to like build the information that will enable you to tell if this information is true or false.
Can we have like an example?
Okay.
An example.
Okay, I think we'll go into the box here for this. So I'll just give Mildred just a couple of cards here that she can use. And I'll just pull out a question card here. So, for example, we have a quote here that says, Winnie Chiza Byanyima is Uganda's first mechanical engineer. So, Mildred, you'd have to pick out one of the cards that you've been given here, which you have been handed at random.
Who say this is the context?
So, if you have a context card, I don't know if anyone can see this, but if you have a context card, this is you asking for additional context to this quote. So what I would tell you is the context in which this quote was shared was a WhatsApp message. So from there, would you be able to, you know, build and say, is a WhatsApp message a credible source?
No.
Is a WhatsApp message credible for you?
No. It
So
isn't.
if it's
anyone
not,
can say anything on WhatsApp.
anyone can say. So even with just that one card, you know, that does spark some doubt in you. So you might be able to answer that, oh, this is incorrect, that is a false quote. And you would be correct because this is false. So that's kind of like how you build it, you know. Like if you have a source card, you play a source card and I tell you the source of this was Uncle Tom. If you have a second opinion, I'd be able to tell you that stated on Wikipedia is that Winifred Byanyima was the first female Ugandan to become an aeronautical engineer, and that instantly tells you that the original quote is incorrect. No,
oh,
the first one was mechanical.
Mechanical.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we have that. And then also on this card, which you get if you get the answer correct, or even if you get it incorrect, is that we also share additional information about the subject, you know. So we have just a little tidbit about Winnie Byanyima at the side here, which, you know, which means that we want to also encourage you to learn more about it, not just and this is a challenge we found making like a game for kids, is that we didn't want to be boxed into that know the answer and that's it. You know, we wanted them to also have additional information, and we also want to push people to go out and say, you know, like, can I learn something new on my own? Like, that's like outside this textbook.
Well, it helps you have actually general knowledge about almost on everything.
Yes.
Is this something that can also be, it is a game that can be played informally and formally as well?
Yes, yes. So our deck of cards that we will be releasing will be a deck of 100 cards, which we want to cover information that would help like a normal Ugandan that has like all the information that would help them in their day-to-day, you know. Who do I go to if I'm looking for the LC? Who do I talk to? If I need like a service from a health center, where do I go? If I need to open a bank account, what do I need? What do most bank accounts ask for? You know, do they ask me for my birth certificate? Probably not, but you know, like this is stuff that we know sometimes slips through the cracks in school, you know, because I definitely came out not knowing about taxation. And this is something that as an adult everyone has to pay taxes, so like why don't I know that from school? So we wanted to fit all that into like a nice neat little round number of 100 questions, you know, that will hopefully help people, you know, like learn about this in a fun way with their friends, with their family, and help them, you know, like come out more educated, and be able to like engage more.
Well, you talked about having tested this game in schools, and do you think it is something that can actually, I think I'm posing this question to you, Sharon, do you think it is something that can be incorporated in schools?
Yes, definitely. And the thing that's great about it is it's really complementary to them, because it can be used for revision. I think we've also seen like sometimes kids like want to, there's some games they're usually done for like math or science, like pointing out facts. So it can be similarly done for civics and social studies, really.
Yeah,
because there's topics about geography which they've learnt in school, there's topics about history which they've learnt in school, and this game can really be used for that. Yeah, so definitely it can help the kids in school.
Okay, so what are some of the challenges that you have? First of all, how long has this game existed, or is this the first time you're actually trying it out?
We are actually due to officially launch in about a month. We have been in development for the past year. We like a big challenge that we faced is again, you know, first and foremost, we were an organization born like on social media, you know, especially as an organization that has had to like start from the ground up, you know. It's definitely easier to do that. Social media is free for most people to use. But we definitely found that the audience that we want to reach is not on social media. So that's definitely like a challenge we have.
Yes, and how do you plan on handling that? Because I was going to say the whole idea of the game seems to be okay, but if we are targeting the entire country as Uganda, you find that there are those people that are in areas that have no access to internet, have no access to social media, are not literate enough to actually read the quotes. How do you intend to engage those people? So to begin with, we wanted to have this game in about 1,000 schools on rollout. We also want to be able to like translate this into indigenous languages. We also did like meet this as a concern when we went to schools, and the students were asking that, and I think that's like a really great thing to be proud of, that your students are asking, you know, in English, if you know, if their parents at home will be able to access this in Luganda or in Ruchiga, or you know. So it's definitely top priority for us to put this in as many schools as possible, and second of all, to have this in as many indigenous languages as possible. Yes. And this all seeks to address the issue of Ugandans not having just to share information or to just have information which is out there. Now, I would like to pose this to you. On Twitter, or why did you actually choose social media to put out information there? And yet it is one of the avenues that we have seen that probably spreads the wrong information. Someone may also be wondering the same. Why did you choose to use social media?
I think, you know, in as much as social media does tend to be host to a lot of, you know, like bad actors who do share misinformation, it helps to kind of be like a light in there, you know. We know that social media is like, news spreads like really fast on there. If NTV put out a tweet, it's probably going to reach 100 people in the next 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So we want to be a source of good information, you know. We might be surrounded by, you know, sources of like bad information, but we would hope that like as an organization, we are, you know, we're definitely putting in the elbow grease to, you know, to check our sources, to get some context. And we've definitely been growing, and it's allowing us to access more information. We also want to put ourselves on the ground to like access the information that probably the government is missing as well, because this is also like a challenge that we found. We do share information that the government has provided, but also how do we get access to that? We did find, I think for people who have interacted with our work, we share like population stats, but you'll find that UBOS has population stats that stop at 2014 or 2020, and this is an up-to-date. So we would like to, you know, if we can also be like if we can make ourselves a pillar that also gets on ground and also goes and gets like good information to share it with people, that would be great.
Okay.
Can I add on
Yes,
that?
please, Sharon.
I think that's also great about the audience we have so far is it's not that, like, information continues to change. Like, there's been sometimes even when we post something that we've gotten from the government sites and just that day they announce something that's a big change. So it's really a beautiful thing also to see that people are actively engaged themselves as well, and we also remain as learners as we also go on learning this information about Uganda and being educated civically ourselves. And the audience also holds us accountable, like, okay, this, but where is this source from? Also show us, and like here it's there, like let's all learn together, and that's something we're achieving online in a really nice way.
All right, thank you so much. We are going to be taking a break, and when we return we shall continue the discussion with Citizen Report, where they're getting to share about the information that you will need to fact check. First of all, I mean, what they're trying to aim at is for you not to believe anything that you find on social media. You have to first check and get a second opinion about it. Well, this conversation is live on Facebook and YouTube. You can follow the conversation as we continue after the break. Welcome back, and you are still watching NTV. We are still having the Citizen Report, getting to discuss the civics awareness that is at the backbone of creating an informed and empowered citizenry. And they believe that with a civically engaged citizenry, this will better contribute to addressing the challenges we currently face as a country, which also includes false information that we have all over social media. And they are also looking at enabling you have the basic knowledge about Uganda, history, civics, and geography. And before the break, they did highlight that this some of the information that could actually be incorporated in schools as well as the curriculum. And I would like to have you, Sarah, expound more on that.
As an organization that does provide information through social media, we have the advantage of using a medium that allows us to kind of like edit this as it comes out. We no longer have to wait for you know, the next publication of a textbook for, you know, for us to like have this verified and then like reprint. Like
it takes a lot. Takes a lot of time.
It does take a lot of time. Even newspapers take a lot of time, and
yet this is information you can get by the instant. Yeah,
and this is like information you can get instantly. We want the information we share to also be included in the curriculum. We know that the curriculum has been changing quite a bit, but we do see that certain things that we share have not been made accessible to students as yet. We definitely.
And is this something that you would like to see done?
Yes.
The information from the Citizen Report, because like the example you gave in one of the cards, I feel like this is information that we need actually at the back of our heads, right from the, you know, the lowest levels of education.
Yeah, yeah. I will say for myself that you know, we do need to be moving away from only giving children information that they would be tested on. Because I feel like that's kind of the root of why they're missing a lot of this information to begin with. If they're not going to be examined on it, then their teachers don't teach them. There's no need for them to be taught. You know, we do want information to go in there. We also think that, you know, we put in the work to make this as interesting looking and as brightly colored as possible. I definitely didn't have the kind of work I do for the Citizen Report in textbooks growing up. You know, maybe it will become a bit more interesting for, you know, students to look at, to study, So yeah, that would be great.
Okay, so how then will the citizens access first of all, the card game, and then also the information that you put out there? How do we access it?
So for the card game, as soon as we do have rollout, we want this in as many schools as possible, like we said.
And when is the rollout happening?
So we intend to roll out next month, which is June. So just keep an eye out on our socials. We'll be able to like share a more like concrete date for everyone to like look out and where they can get them and all that. But we did make it in the most affordable way possible. So we think that this will be affordable for people for like a school to have, for even for maybe like a local council to have like one copy. I know that in the village we do have local council meetings and all that. It would be nice if we'd be able to have this, even like donating if we had to. If we had this and people were able to like wind down that day playing this, every once in a while.
Yeah, that's one thing that's really great about it, because it's both education and entertainment at the same time. So it's something that you can even have at home to play with people on the weekend or something.
Yeah.
So and while learning, so it's something that fits in several spaces.
Not only the formal sector.
Not only the formal.
So is it? You said you're going to have the rollout. So are you going to like distribute, or is it going to be sold? What exactly are you going to do when after the rollout?
Okay, so first we're going to have it available for sale while we kind of figure out how we can make this available to people who might not be able to afford it. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then you plan to have the hard copies of the cards, or it's a game that can also be played online?
So right now we have it like in hard copy, but our next step is also like digitizing. We definitely had to like hammer out the mechanics of it first, but like a big goal is also to have it digital. Our audience does like a quiz on Fridays, and we know that there are a lot of people who are able to like engage with us in our way. So we thought, how can we also do this game, like that, which puts these tenants in there. We also wanted it to be like available as maybe like a software that can be accessible for like school computers, something that they can do that's fun, that like something that is available offline as well.
So you do, the quiz is online?
Yes, the quiz is online.
So like today's a Friday, the quiz is going to happen?
It's already
It's actually
there.
already happening.
So you can play it right
I can
now.
play right
We have people engaging right now and raising
and these
issues.
are, and still the questions here are the very questions that you ask. I mean, the questions about civics, history, and geography, those are the questions that you ask in your quiz.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you talked about how the cards or the game is going to be available for people to buy. Tell me why you think someone should actually buy the cards. Why would a person be compelled to buy this game? I'll start with you, Sharon.
I would say it's compelling. Like personally, I would say like my experience with it and even playing with people, it's a compelling game.
I mean, someone would sorry to cut you short, someone would be like, well, the information there, I can just Google it and access it and that's it.
But the answer is no, not really, because okay, we are curating it. Like information is all there, but are you waking up and Googling Winnie and at the same time Googling Rukungiri and at the same time checking out what happens in Otuke district? Like it helps you learn so many things at the same time and in a condensed and consumable way. And this really helps in knowing this information is really helpful, and some of it is useful, like say like about the passports, about the ID, and there is a benefit to knowing this. Like it will come in handy. I
will say we do definitely have, like even for when people say things like, oh, like I can just Google it, like as Uganda we have an information gap there. Like I can't tell you how many times we've had to like roll out data and I have to, like, one of us has to cross-check it, and it's just not online, you know, like you can't just Google and find it. And like this happens so often.
For example?
So I think after there's some districts that have like sprouted in the past in the past decade or so.
2005. Yeah.
We do still find that we will share official UBOS information in a post, and someone from that district will come and be like, hey, that's not true, and we have to be like, we're really sorry, but this is what the government is telling people. So you mean the government's data or information is out of date? Is out of date, yes.
And that is something that you are looking to address?
Yes. A funny story, there was this one time I had to illustrate a map of, I don't remember what district it was, but I went to the official district site, and it had an entire different districts other information there, and it was the same for like a few other sites. They had just like, I don't think they'd like updated with maybe their tech team or whatever, but I couldn't find the site there. It's like me going to look for ginger and finding Ntungamo there. What? You know, I look for another district like Hoima, Tungamo again. I was like, what's going on? And this happened like for like a whole weekend. I was so like appalled by it. I did share about this on socials because it was so amusing for me. But like we are in an internet age, but we do still have these gaps, and that's a problem. That's a huge problem.
You're right. Every district has that site, but the information there is, some have, like, it's impressive to find some districts with really a lot of information, but some have just as much as like a picture on the front page, on the and then the rest of it really isn't filled up. So this information, it's actually hard to access, and hopefully we'll make it easier and encourage government as well to really share this information for people.
So how then do you think, how best can you then work with government, or have you tried to actually work with some of these bodies, for example UBOS, to see that that generation gap is actually filled, or we all meet in the middle somehow and we have, you know, the accurate information that we all need?
Well, we have been trying to make some steps to kind of like engage with government organizations with this. It definitely takes quite a bit of time. It's very bureaucratic, but we as like people who share this information, we do try to collaborate, you know, with people who provide the information from the source. To do that, we have, I think sometime last year we did a series on refugees and migration, and we had,
I think I've read about it.
We had collaborated with the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, and our researchers were able to like write a full paper with them that they shared. We had like social media posts that talked about refugees, about how you get refugee status, and I think that's how, you know, we would like to be able to do that with the government itself. And we're making steps. We're trying. Hopefully maybe someone is watching and will be interested in working with us, but yeah, we hope that we can be able to do that with them, because and if we can also get other people on board to also be providing this information. We I will mention we were one of a few groups that got like funding from this AKU grant. I can mention some Ugandan groups that I think are also working in like similar fields as us. We have Open Signs, which is working with the deaf community, with the hard of the hearing impaired community, and they are creating content for the deaf community, which is so important.
And they're also doing the information sharing.
Yeah, they're doing information sharing. We also have like Debunked, which is which works to also share information, and what they do is just debunk incorrect information. So, you know, we're out there, we're trying to do this work. We, as the Citizen Report, we are already like acquainted with them, and in the future we'll be working with them. But I think the government should know that there are plenty of people who are willing and want to do this work.
Okay, so shortly we are going to be playing the game, but I would like to know, what does the future hold for you at Citizen Report? I'll start with you, Sharon.
I'll first reiterate some stuff we've already talked about, which is, first of all, reaching schools and having the information we share on in their curriculum. That's a major one that we want to achieve. We really want to reach more Ugandans in whatever way possible. Like, the more people we reach and the more people we civically engage, that's really a huge goal for us. Those are the two most important, I would say.
Okay, Auntie.
Just like the extra thing is we do want our information to be translated, all the information, okay, whether it's just the social media stuff, translating not only to indigenous languages but also in like hard copy. We've started our first steps with this, and maybe we'll be like releasing kind of toolkits and things that like communities on ground can use.
And also reaching out to Omuntu Wawansi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to have this game on. So I will have, I think I'll have, do you want me to be part of it? Or I'll have the two of you, the two of us? Sharon,
You and Sarah should play.
I mean, we could all play. It's just that I would be the one asking the questions.
Questions? Okay.
Sharon, and you could be...
All right, let's get to
Okay,
it.
so I'm just going to pass you your cards. Remember these, I guess. We kind of already shuffled this.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I will play Game Master, and what I will be doing is I will be reading out the quote.
So
each of you,
I get a hold of my cards.
you can get a hold of your cards. You can use as many cards as you want to come to your conclusion. You know, but please know we are playing. How many cards did you get?
I got 5. I have 5.
So we're going to be doing
You have
5 questions.
I have 6.
I pick one.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to be doing 6 questions. Use as many cards per question as you like,
Okay.
but know that you have 6 questions.
Okay.
So that's the challenge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Here's our first question.
Going to?
Okay, so I'll ask Mildred first. So in 2016, Specioza Kaziwe was appointed by then United Nations Secretary General Kofi Annan as a special envoy for AIDS prevention in sub-Saharan Africa.
Who said that?
So the source of this is an online blog.
So this card asks for the source.
Yeah, that's what the
Who
source.
said that?
The source of this is an online blog. That's online blog.
Online blog. And the context?
The context of this was a personality profile.
And should I ask, can I have, okay. Second opinion, has anyone else said anything about this?
Yeah, so we have a second opinion from Wikipedia, which is in August 2013. She was appointed by the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon as UN Special Envoy for HIV AIDS in Africa.
So that makes it false?
That is correct. It is false. So you get your point. So Sharon, this is yours. Miriam Matembe was the first Ugandan woman to stand for the presidency in Uganda, but was unsuccessful in her bid.
Who said this?
An entertainment page said this.
It's false.
So this is false. That's correct. Let's mix
So
this up.
I'm already prompted to get my phone and look up the extra information.
Let's mix this up. Okay, this.
So it gives you, for example, the first question you asked me about who being appointed.
It's Specioza Kaziwe.
Yes. When you read the first quote, in my head I wanted to, you know, I mean, it gives you options to ask more information so that you can tell whether it is actually credible or not.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. But like hers was simply an entertainment post cannot share about, you know, something political.
Yeah. You know, we do find that fact checking is a very gray area. You know, like. I can't say that there are times that my mother has shared a WhatsApp message and it's true, and it's shocked me because most of the messages are like spam that's, you know, like she just forwards. But there are times that it's true, and like we also want people to know that, you know, either we sit down and tell you can only receive news from here, which that's really not functional.
Because
you know?
I was going to say that we have so many entertainment sites that also share political information.
Yeah.
So do they have to fact check?
Yeah, they do. I mean, ideally they should.
Because it's not their field of...
Yeah, it's not their field. And, you know, like, you'd rather check and find out it's true than not check
At all.
Yeah, and not check and, you know, like ingest this like wrong information.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's find you
We
a
are
short
proceeding
one.
with the second question.
Okay, this is a good one. The Constitutional Court ruled in 2021 that civilians must not be tried in military courts.
Who said that?
The source of this is the Independent newspaper's official website.
And the context?
The context is it was a news article.
And the second opinion? On
You keep asking, but you don't have the cards.
You should try before you have all the
And
answers.
you're finishing up all your cards.
Yeah.
Okay,
just to be sure.
okay.
I just need to
Okay.
be sure, really.
If
And I'm
only-
new to the game.
I'm only
So-
going to give you the source and context for free.
Okay.
The source was the Independent newspaper
Okay.
website, and
Seems
the
to be
context
true.
was a news article. So
It's
yes,
true.
yes, that is true. So you get this point.
I get that. But just to be sure, I think I am allowed to keep asking. Yeah.
But you
You
know
should
what?
only-
You're kind of like getting into
the game.
You're getting into the game,
I'm already getting
and
it.
you're already getting those habits. So
Yeah.
that's cool. Just this once.
Okay.
But when you're like competing with people who
Mm.
have to keep score, I'm sure people would fight you.
Right.
Okay. So this one is the Court of Appeals is a higher level court than the High Court.
Second opinion.
Oh. So I do not have to ask for the source. I can just go straight away to
can
second
go-
opinion.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't have to ask in order.
That's what I was doing.
No, okay. Okay, so our second opinion is from a website called nyulawglobal.org. And what it says is the highest court in Uganda is the Supreme Court. The Court of Appeal is next in hierarchy, and it handles appeals from the High Court.
True.
So this is true, correct?
Okay. So,
I ask a district one.
yeah, as we wrap up,
People
I
know
think this
about
should be our
districts.
last round of
Okay, this is our last pair of questions. So, Bukwa district is home to Uganda's first and only Olympic gold medal winner.
second opinion.
So the second opinion is from the Daily Monitor, and it is Akibua was one of over 40 children born to a county chief in Abako, northern Uganda.
Is it true?
Do you want me to repeat the quote?
Please repeat.
Okay, so the quote was Bukwa district is home to Uganda's first and only Olympic gold medal winner.
What I'm thinking right now is to Google to fact check.
But
Is it
like,
is it false or true?
it is false, but
False.
something I found is that we also kind of like have kind of like context clues in the quote itself, you know. So if you hear first and only Olympic gold medal winner, you know that's not true. So
Yeah.
this is false. And yeah, we do have quite a few more gold medalists, so can have this. And for our last question, Lake Mburo National Park is located in Chiruhura district. I'm sorry.
Has anyone else said anything? Second opinion?
No,
No one else has said.
no
I
one.
think that's false.
Okay. This is actually true.
It's true.
It is true. The source of this, if you'd asked for source, I would have told you, but this was from the Uganda Wildlife Authority website.
Oh, then I would have known it's true.
Yeah. But yeah,
Okay.
Well,
so-
thank you so much, Sarah and
Thank
Sharon. This game surely opens your mind to, so many things. You actually realize that there is so much information out there that you do not have your hands on, and you do not even sometimes care or want to follow up. But with this kind of arrangement, I mean, it is something that could help very many of us, those in the informal and formal sector as well, just to have the back knowledge about what is happening in the country. And that is what Citizen Report Uganda is all about, having you express yourself from an informed point of view and not just throwing information out there on social media. You're not even sure where it is from. So it helps you actually fact check, and you are available on social media. You can give us your social media handles as we actually get to wrap up.
Yes, on Twitter, the Citizen Report UG, Instagram and Facebook, same, Citizen Report Uganda. And play our quiz. It's on today. So if you're watching right now, go on the socials and really play our quiz and get a feel of what it's like. Get to test your knowledge of Uganda and share your results with us also on socials.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah Ijangolet, Creative Director and Game Developer, The Citizen Report Uganda, and Sharon Rakatungu, Community Manager at The Citizen Report Uganda. Thank you so much. For those of you that have been following live on TV and online, Facebook and YouTube, we do call it a good afternoon.